Good morning, everyone. Today is May the 11th, 2021. This is StockCast, your pre-market show. My name is James Mason. With me is Todd Derby. Todd, how you doing this morning?
I am doing okay. Not the best day, but we'll get into that a little bit. I'll explain a personal story as we talk about one of the topics we're going to cover a little bit later about regarding labor shortage. But overall, not too bad.
All right. So yesterday I slept in. My wife came to me at 7:45, and she basically said something to the equivalent of, "What are you doing? I guess the stock cash show ain't going on today." And I said, "Oh crap!" Except another word, and then, yep, and yeah, so it was canceled. But Todd didn't even bother to message me. Yeah, what's that about?
Well, I don't have the login to StreamYard, so I sit here and wait for you to get on
That has
board.
nothing to do with messaging me.
I get everything ready. Everything ready preps when you show up. So when the star shows up, the makeup's done. Lights, camera, action. I have it all prepped for you.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with sending a text message. All right, everyone. So currently, the market is getting hammered. Pre-market, the Dow futures are currently down 290 points. S&P 500 down 54 points, and we're gonna more likely have a strong bearish day coming out of the gates. I mean, we're all. You okay, son? That's my dog. But yeah, strong bearish day coming out of the gates here, and we'll just have to see what choppiness we get into and see if we can't get this market to release some steam. But let's go ahead and get into it. Good morning, everybody who is tuning in. All right, so this morning we have ticker PHUN. They released their news on Funware begins selling their Fun token. So y'all can, it'd be easier just to do a Google search instead of me reading this article. You'll also get more of the information if you read it. But anyways, this company, they have their own social media platform essentially, and they're just now starting to get their own token on the market, and that's literally the catalyst that's starting to come into play here. So we can see this pre-market push in ticker PHUN. We went from 123 yesterday to a pre-market high of 150 this morning. So let me go ahead and draw a line out right here. All right, so we have our pre-market high marked right there. And this is our current daily setup right here. So I honestly don't like how they released this news. This was one of their catalysts that's starting to come out into the market and will potentially push this thing up in the future here. Now, the reason why I don't like how they released this is if you look at this daily chart, how they just kept letting it get just hammered down, and then they just randomly released that news. They should have done a little pumping beforehand to really stop the bleeding, kind of at least get it going sideways before releasing that news. Had they done that, that would have been a lot better run. What's going on right now, and this will probably be like this for the next few days to come, is this transition of people who were caught in it and red. I have a smaller position here, and I'm still red in it, but you have these people who, let's just go back here, who have an average of almost $3, and they didn't have no more money to average back into this or average down into this, and they missed this spike, and so now they're just desperate. They're going to take anything that they can get, and so they're just cutting their losses. They're minimizing their losses, and then you have a few people who are just now trying to jump in. But right now, the transition of people begging to get out of this stock outweighs the people who are trying to jump in this. So what's probably going to happen is this first catalyst is going to kind of balance that out over the days to come. And then hopefully it will gain some traction and start pushing up after that. Again, I really hate how they handled this one. I am long in it. I'm still long in it. And I'm just going to have to kind of play this one by ear to see how this works out. But this is ticker PHUN.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, what I call the integrity of the company, or the integrity of the CEO, where they think about these things and talk about how they can protect their shareholders or their stockholders. And like you said, had they done something back there over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks to put out some fluff PR just to hold it in place, then when the news comes out, it does get a little spike and they get a little better value, a little better valuation in market cap.
I know one thing: if Transparent Traders ever IPO'd, would be a low float. But our damn ticker would probably go from, I don't know, $1 something to surprise $15. If you guys ever see me do this on the show, that's code talk. If we IPO one day, you just never know. You never know. You never know. and then if I do that, y'all know the time is now and this thing is going to run. We'll be indicted so quickly. All right. But anyways, this ticker PHUN, again, that transition of people begging to get out is outweighing the people who are jumping in this, seeing the potential that they have in the future. And that's just what it is at the moment. So we'll have to let it balance out and see what we get in the future here. All right. Let's see. What else do we got? Hold on, I'm running through the comments really quick.
Boy, I have a screen on my platform. It's called Market View, which has a bunch of tickers I watch, and literally, it's all red. It's literally like a 12-year-old took a can of paint and just dumped it. It's just literally all red.
Let's see. All right. Chad, let's take a look at ticker APPH. Let me pull up some info on that. APPH. Geez, this literally looks like the same setup as PHUN on the daily chart. So this is APPH, and let me flip back over to PHUN. Look at that. Literally the same setup. Right. So kind of getting beat up a little bit here pre-market, but let me just draw some lines out really quick. All right, so we have support at 1039, and we currently have a gap down here pre-market to 1175. So I don't have no info on short interest, but shares outstanding 97.9 million. The float 59.6 million. And at least it's held by institutions almost 44%. So just scanning their news really quick. They have a couple filings at the end of April, and then a handful in the middle of April, some Form 4s. I'll have to take a look at this later, but I'm just looking at the technical setup. So with this pre-market gap down, hold on, I just want to read Chad's comment again. Okay, so with this pushing down pre-market here, we also have anticipated earnings on May the 17th per trading view. So that'll play a part into this as well. But with this breaking down and getting below $12, that is concerning. Now that we're under that support of $12, hopefully we can get back above 12 and stay within that range between 12 and 14.29. That's like a solid channel right there. And then just kind of ride it sideways for a few days, maybe 2 weeks or so. This will just be like an ideal setup. And then break above 14.29. I mean, if we just get back above 12 and hold this channel right here, and then slowly start pushing back up over the next, I say, 2 weeks or so, then we could, I'd say, pretty easily make a little push back up to 16.33 before getting rejected and pulling back down. But I'm not exactly sure why we are pushing down this much pre-market, besides just the overall market as a whole just really pulling down. So it's probably just following the flow of the market in general. Hold on a second. Just kind of looking at some things. So Chad, my opinion of it, I do expect it to hit your stop loss that you reported in the comments. I feel like this has future potential, but I just don't know if it's going to happen today with it pulling back this much pre-market here. I mean, we're almost down since yesterday. I mean, we're down 86 cents, and it's for this PPS value. That's pretty significant. It's pretty tough. So yeah, I mean, I can't really give you like a definite. I mean, if you want to answer like as in, you know, like for today, it's not looking good today. I say over the span of like the next 2 weeks, as long as the market doesn't continue to pull it down, I'd feel good about it. We do need to get back above 12, and at a minimum, just trade above 12 for at least a few days, up to 2 weeks or so. We just need to get these daily candlesticks going sideways, just to break that downward momentum and give it a chance to kind of chill out, and then it would probably take a run then. Hold on, I'm just looking at the RSI as well. Yeah, so this is ticker APPH, and we'll just have to watch this one. The setup ain't quite there yet, but potentially we could get something to turn around in the days to come. I mean, heck, earnings might turn it around, but at the same time, earnings could crush it more. You just never know.
And right now it's in a bearish pattern.
Yeah.
Got a bearish indicator.
All right. So Todd, let's talk about I'll put it back up on PHUN, and we'll just kind of let it do its thing as we talk about this labor shortage.
Yeah. So, I mean, people, I think that we experience it in different ways. But I'll tell you my story yesterday, and I'll share some of the details about it. I drive a truck. I have a tent rental company. We do tent graduations and weddings, and I set these up. And it's a seasonal business. And yesterday my transmission went out, so I was looking to take it to a transmission shop, and I called 4 or 5 different ones, and everything is out several weeks. Talked to one guy, and he explained to me what the problem was. Because of the pandemic, because of the COVID pandemic, and the federal unemployment money that's available, along with their state unemployment money, people literally aren't going back to work. They're making more money sitting around doing nothing, or they're making enough to sit around and do nothing that they don't want to work. So these smaller businesses, there's part suppliers that would pay people $12, $14, $18 an hour. Their employees would rather not work collecting federal money. And so what's happening is that they can't produce parts, and then parts can't supply the bigger guys. The bigger guys can't supply trucks or cars. So in Michigan here, we have, I live close to Michigan State University, and because there's no students on campus, they have these huge parking lots. Well, GM is renting their parking lots, these huge parking lots, for $25,000 a month, and they have cars parked there that don't have chips. So they manufacture the car, they put a chip in it, they drive the car there, park it, pull the chip out, and they go back and get another car. And because there's a shortage of chips being supplied, because all these people were working at home, the chips suppliers were putting them into more computers, laptops, and so the auto industry has got a backup of cars. But the point is that there's so much of pandemic money going on out there that people literally are not willing to work. And I've heard this from other people, like even my tent company, like trying to hire someone on a part-time seasonal basis. They want to be paid way more than I normally would pay someone. And so right now there's a shortage, which then triggers a form of inflation. And don't want to turn it into an class of economics, but now what's happening is that we're starting to see mild inflation or the fear of inflation coming in right now. So it's an interesting time that we're living right now and watching this all play out.
Well, thank God we have the government to protect us. They'll take care of it.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah. So the same thing with that's going on with what you said. It's also going on in the food industry. I mean, if you go to Starbucks, at least in my area, Starbucks hasn't had any breakfast food in a week or more because of this. Chick-fil-A, they're having a shortage of food items. I mean, there's been quite a few different food industries or companies, whatever, that I know of. They just have a shortage of everything. I mean, when you get paid just as much or more sitting at home, of course the people ain't going to work.
Yeah. So, and we don't think about it in our day-to-day lives until I experienced it personally this week. And then when you think about it, you think it's like we're in a world of a mess. And I don't think we've seen the worst of it yet. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. Now, Dallas just commented that Montana did it right. They cut unemployment. And I saw in the national news here 2 nights ago that Utah was looking to do the same thing. And that would make sense if you cut the unemployment rates and get them back, trying to get back to work. I know that, and again, I don't want this to be a political message, but there was a message from former President Trump that his proposal was to give them an incentive instead of paying them federal money to give them a bonus for going back to work. and they would get them people back into the labor force. And that got shot down in the House.
Damn. Wish they would give me a bonus for showing up for work.
No, it's a bonus to go back to work, not to show up to work. You didn't show up yesterday.
Well, that would be me going back to work today. See?
Okay.
But talking about Montana, though, man, that really doesn't mean much to me, man. Montana is, I swear, I lived in Montana for like 4 or 5 years. I swear that entire state's like a welfare state. You have this percentage of people, like the farmers, who will bust their butt and, they're doing their thing, whatever. But if you get into like the small cities like Great Falls, man, it's just like when I lived there, it's like everybody I knew was on welfare. You go to Walmart or past Walmart in the middle of the day, like at 11 a.m., and it looked like Black Friday shopping every freaking day. I never understood it. And when I always talk to the people, they're just like, oh, well, I just work a part-time job. Everybody I knew up there just only had a part-time job. And it never made sense. Like, how do you make it on a part-time job? I don't get it. So
I can move to Montana and be king of my castle for very little money.
I don't know. Montana, it's this odd little world, I guess. There's parts of it I like about it, but I don't know. As a whole, I don't know. People are just different.
Yeah.
All that isolation I get.
So we have a labor shortage, which is gonna help trigger some inflation. And I think the real issue is going to really kick in is when right now you can't evict people and there's mortgage forbearances or on your loans. I think when that all gets tightened up, where people have to get caught up and they can't, as they say in the business, the dookie's going to hit the fan. It's going to get ugly real quick.
Oh yeah, could you imagine being a landlord and being told by the government, hey, you can't evict these people. If they don't pay you, well, then they just don't pay you. But you better keep paying your mortgages on all your properties, or however you got it set up. Man, I don't know about all that. That would suck. It's gonna get bad though, and then when it does, I'm going to selfishly say it. I don't care because I have ticker BNKD in my portfolio. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, brother.
But yeah, so other than that, that's pre-market here, at least up to this point. That's what I see going on. PHUN obviously bleeding off right now. But going back to what I was saying, that whole transition of people begging to get out and the new people coming in to ride the catalyst up in the future. I feel like the company failed with how they released that catalyst based off that setup. Had it been me, Todd, Jeffrey, and Johnny, we'd have been pumping this thing if we owned this company up here and then release catalyst. And then that following day, we'd release another catalyst. And then that next day, we just we could potentially release another catalyst and just squeeze it out more.
Then we would have released pictures of our kids and then talked about them. And then we released another catalyst. Would have kept it going.
Exactly. Sure. These companies need to learn how to do it correctly. Jeez. But
Dan, everyone's bleeding today. He's calling it ticker POAI. Everything's bleeding.
Oh yeah.
It's just
getting hammered. Predictive oncology need to start releasing some fluff little PRs and stuff. I mean, they kind of have, but they need to give us a little bit more substance to really to beat off the same thing. At least with predictive oncology, it is in this channel. It doesn't need to break below this low of Hold on, there's a low of, let's see. Not sure why it ain't showing up on this chart, but there's actually a daily candlestick somewhere right in here that was hitting a low of 80, I think 87 cents or something like that. But we don't need to break below that for sure. But they need to start giving us a little bit better fluff PRs just to keep it sideways and then release that strong catalyst later. I really hope that they're not waiting for releasing news on earnings. It's going to piss me off. But same thing here. At least we do have, unlike PHUN, I mean PHUN does have some decent catalysts in the works. It's more longer term with them. But POAI, we have quite a few very strong catalysts. So that we do have that in our future here with this ticker. So that is all I have for today. Todd, do you have anything else?
Nope.
All right, everybody.
Have a great day.
So it's going to be a tough day. Currently down in the pre-market, 310 points for the Dow Jones and S&P 500, down 55.5 points. So y'all trade safe. Keep those position sizes very small. It's going to start getting rough. So we appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all in the next one.